So we're coming at you at the 2024 Elite Builders Gala, and we have with us absolute rock star, one of the top rev share earners in the whole company, Mr. John Mikash. Appreciate you being here with me, buddy.
Yeah, man, it's been a blast. It's amazing to see what you guys have put together here.
Yeah, man. Well, that means a lot coming from you, and I guess I'm curious because you've been in this game 3.5 years. What exactly about this event stood out to you?
Yeah. So last night at the gala, the awards ceremony you had, me and Lars were sitting in the back, and we were like, man, it's just amazing, the energy and what you've brought here. These people are sold out, but for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
And I think that there's very few people in the company right now doing this level of an event from the quality standpoint and just how you're interacting and maintaining and creating energy. Very few people are doing that in the company as a whole.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody else in my organization right now doing what you guys are doing from an event standpoint, and I just want to commend you on that.
Well, I appreciate it.
I've had some amazing conversations with the people. I can tell that they're not just motivated, but they're informed. Mm-hmm. So you got a good mix of people here. Some of them are interested in revenue share. A lot of them are interested in production. And the coaching and training that you're providing around production is giving these people, I was just out at the pool talking to a guy, and he's like, hey man, I'm stuck in the 10 to 15 deal a year. And he's not even with EXP yet, but he's like, the way that you guys share information and how you're just not withholding anything, he's like, now I feel like I can go back to my market and go to 50 sides a year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what it's all about, brother.
It's awesome, dude, to have that level of impact, which is really what it's about. And I guess I'm curious from your perspective, one of the things that I've had a couple people say to me in terms of feedback was they were really surprised, not only by the kind of level of collaboration and sharing, but also vulnerability.
Yeah.
Where they didn't expect the speakers, myself, yourself, Lars, Jose, and others, they're accustomed to seeing people on panels and being very kind of oh, look at me, and braggadocious.
Yeah.
And everybody led with kind of vulnerability. So I'm curious to get your feedback on that, because you've been to a lot of these types of events.
I've been to a lot of events, man, and I think that, as far as being braggadocious, I think sometimes that's all we have to lead with. When we're looking at events in our industry as a whole, outside of EXP, it's all you have is your production. You have nothing else to give, you have nothing else really to benefit from other than, hey, look at me, look at what I've done. And a lot of times you go to events and it feels very much like that, and they're saying, hey, I've got this thing that I'm really good at, and I just want to talk about that. And you're less likely to get the guy that says, hey, but here's the areas I'm struggling with. Mm-hmm. Anybody who's not with EXP that's been to an EXP event, the common theme is, wow, you guys are open and you share and you don't hold back at all. Mm-hmm. And somebody was actually asking me about this at the pool, why do you think that is? And I said, I think it's when you have so much opportunity in front of you that it's not just about the amount of homes you sold last year, but it's about this impact, it's about this revenue share, it's about being part of a company that you're owners in. When you have all of that, your walls just come down. Mm-hmm. And you're like, how can we grow together? How can we impact together? And that's been my experience all along at EXP. It's been 3.5 years, but in a lot of ways it feels like 10. You know what I mean? I've been in this industry for 20 plus years, and the first 17 of it were doing it the hard way. Mm-hmm. And it was doing everything that all my coaches told me to do so that I could go sell some more homes, but always having to hit the reset button. Hitting the reset button every January 1st, hitting the reset button when my top producer leaves to go become a competitor, and it just gets tiring. So I think that part of what you experience at an event like this, certainly when you can get people in the room that are experiencing freedom at a different level, is just a sense of gratitude. Mm-hmm. Somebody told me a couple years ago, I was on this whitewater rafting trip, and this 19-year-old guide was wise beyond his years, just somebody that was super magnetic. And he was sharing some stories with us when we were going down the river, and he said something that was it just stopped me. And he said, I was like, man, how do you have all these stories and all these experiences? And he said, I believe that vulnerability is the doorway to connection. And he said, I've always been super vulnerable, And because of that vulnerability, people have connected with me and invited me to do all these crazy things. And I was just like, I thought about that for the whole rest of the trip. And I bring it up because you said, we're vulnerable here. And it's like, yeah, we're vulnerable. And because of that, we're connecting with agents at a deeper level. When we can take off the mask and we can remove the identity of all I am is my production from last year.
Sure.
And we can actually become a holistic human being who's also a realtor, who has struggles, who has challenges, but together we can solve those problems in this model because I can help you and you can help me. And by me helping you, I'm not giving up any of my cards because it's not about that anymore. And I think that's ultimately the thing that from the outside, the industry doesn't see about us and the difference that's going to carry us forward into the future.
I agree. And I think that underneath as well, something that they don't see is that Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's right-hand guy, who passed away recently at 100, he said you have to be very careful how you incentivize people because it shapes behavior. And what's interesting is here in this model, we're actually incentivized to collaborate and to share. Where in virtually every other model, there is no incentive to, which is why it doesn't happen, right? And I guess I'm curious too, because again, you've been to a lot of these, and not only did you present, but you were kind of there observing. So were there any takeaways for you in kind of the other presenters? Yeah.
So you brought in a tax strategist, and you had no idea that this about me, but like I was actually looking for a new tax planner. My experience with tax planners over the years is that a lot of times you choose one because they're really good and they're really excited about helping you go to the next level of tax planning and preparation. And then they're good, and then as each year goes by, they get more and more complacent, or they go to a new level of their career and they're not as available. So I'm just in that season where I'm looking for a new guy. And the guy that you brought in, like I texted you, I'm like, this guy is a G, man. Like connect me in a three-way text. Like he's awesome. He's exactly what I was looking for. And like, how cool is it that we can come to like a real estate conference? I'm a speaker here, so like I'm coming to bring value, but I can walk away with so much value. Like I've already connected him and me with my wife, and we're gonna do a meeting. And it's like, I think our value is going beyond the borders of a traditional real estate agent, and like, how can we help these people holistically, lead better lives and do better planning? One thing he said that was just like, is, we've all heard the penny doubled every day for a month. And like the end result of that is like, if you double a penny every day for a month, it's like 5.3 million. What's crazy is if you tax that penny along the way, and you're in like let's just say a 28% tax bracket, if you tax that penny every day 28%, instead of it being worth 5.3 million at the end of 30 days, it's worth 67,000.
It's crazy, right?
It's like, we can't earn more way out of that pit.
Built a team and a brokerage up to 798 units, $5.4 million in GCI. And then he sold a portion of it, not his team. And then he traveled around the world for 7 or 8 months with his family on a sailboat.